Welcome to the Bright Trip channel. I'm Camille. Bon appetit! Today we are diving into France's most coveted condiment, Dijon mustard. We'll discover how it came to be and, even more interestingly, why this mustard was protected by law. Who knew a condiment could be prone to a lawsuit? But wait, there's more. We're going to also make Dijon at home. I've never made mustard before, but as Chef Julia Child once said,
you just have to have the courage of your convictions.
Here we go. If you've tasted Dijon mustard, you might describe it as a more robust mustard with a little kick to it.
Are some of those imported Dijon mustards a little too hot for you?
The key visual factor that distinguishes Dijon from regular mustard is the color. While regular mustard is a bright yellow, Dijon has more of a pale tone.
Oh, Jerry, you got no mustard, huh?
It's on the door.
What, this yellow stuff? No, I said mustard, Jerry. Dijon.
Another key difference is the liquid. While yellow mustard uses vinegar, Dijon uses either white wine vinegar, or a more mild and traditional option, verjus, which is the juice of unripe grapes. In fact, we better start soaking our mustard seeds. Let's get into it. All right, here's what you need to make your very own Dijon mustard. I will be following along to a recipe from the Cooking Canuck. First, let's talk mustard seeds. Dijon mustard uses black or brown mustard seeds. These are a lot spicier than yellow or white mustard seeds, which are used for regular mustard. So we're gonna be doing a combination today. You will need 3 tablespoons of yellow mustard seeds and 3 tablespoons of black mustard seeds. After reading some recipes, I've come to the conclusion that you can kind of choose your own ratio depending on the heat you want for your mustard. I'm starting out by first grinding the mustard seeds a little bit so that they will be able to better absorb the liquid. You can use whatever is available to you, a blender or a food processor. So now I'm going to remove these from the blender and begin to mix all of the other dry ingredients. So you will need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground mustard, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and lastly, an 1/8 teaspoon of both salt and white pepper. My salt is stuck, please hold. We're just gonna eyeball an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Now I am just going to combine all of the dry ingredients, and soon we will be adding our liquid ingredients. And similarly to the ratio of the mustard seeds, you can also kind of experiment with the liquids as well. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, as well as 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. You can replace up to half of the liquid with white wine, which would also be quite delicious. Okay, now that all of the ingredients are incorporated, the next step is to cover it in plastic wrap and let it sit at room temperature for 24 to 48 hours. So, in the meantime, let's talk about how Dijon mustard came to be. Buckle up, y'all. The history of mustard is actually way more interesting than you would think. We're going way back, and not just to Dijon mustard's history, but almost to the very origins of mustard seed. Some of the first recorded uses of mustard seed is in medicine and spices in ancient Egypt, followed by the Greeks and then the Romans. Mustard seed was most likely introduced in France by the Romans during the Roman Empire. The seed quickly gained traction in France for its many uses, and by the 9th century, the monks of northern France were making a substantial income for their mustard making. Fast forward to the 13th century, this is when mustard making of all kinds was absolutely booming. In fact, in the 14th century, Pope John XXII of Avignon created an official title called the Mustard Maker of the Pope. Imagine that being your official title. So what do you do for work? Oh, I'm the Grand Mustard Maker to the Pope. I'm telling you, France takes their mustard very seriously. Now enter Dijon, the capital of the Burgundy region of France. Dijon quickly became the mustard capital of the world. And you wanna know what's crazy? Mustard of all kinds thrived in France for over 4 centuries before what we know as Dijon was even invented. 4 centuries! Mustard was already loved for its culinary versatility up to this point, and in 1752, Jean Dijon revolutionized mustard. While making mustard, he replaced the vinegar with verjus, or the juice of unripe grapes, and created a creamier, less acidic flavor, and thus, Dijon mustard was born. Based on the history so far, it's no surprise that Dijon took off like it did. In fact, let's check on our own. You may be thinking, what? How has it been 24 hours? Lucky for you, I prepared this batch yesterday. Now, from here you can enjoy your mustard as is, or you can blend it to give it a little bit of a smoother consistency. So I'm going to add it back to the food processor. I like the look of this consistency, so now I'm going to put it in the fridge for a bit, let the flavors marry, while we talk about the standards of Dijon mustard. Would you believe me if I told you Dijon mustard had its own laws? That's right, this condiment is protected by law. Ketchup could never. Okay, is anyone surprised at this point? Mustard making has actually been regulated in France since the 1300s to ensure a consistent reputation of high quality. In 1937, a law was passed to regulate the production of Dijon mustard. It stated that Dijon must be made from black or brown mustard seed, it had to use white wine vinegar, or verjus as the liquid, and have no added flavors. Dijon also had to be made in France, otherwise it was just Dijon style mustard. But don't worry, things have lightened up. And since the European Union has ruled that Dijon is a generic term for any mustard made in the Dijon fashion. So although there are no territorial laws on what defines Dijon mustard, it still has to be composed of the proper ingredients. Well, that was probably more information about mustard than you ever expected to learn. And now that I think about it, it's kind of funny that Dijon, the mustard capital of the world, wasn't even a native region of mustard seeds. From medicine to mustard makers to modern day, mustard has come a long way to become the Dijon we eat today. Maybe you'll spend a little more time reading the label of your Dijon mustard. If you don't make it at home, that is. On that note, I think it's time to put our Dijon to the test. It is officially time to try our Dijon mustard. I am beyond excited. It smells divine. You don't really think about mustard until you end up in the wild curiosities of my mind like this. Bon appetit! Oh my gosh. It's spicy! I didn't want to talk with food in my mouth, but this is amazing. It has a lot more kick than I was expecting, but it's perfect for all of you fans of spicy mustard. I highly recommend making this at home. I mean, you have control of your own mustard. That's amazing. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and are looking for more educational travel content, visit brighttrip.com. Brighttrip has a variety of courses on all things travel. In fact, if you're looking for more food travel content, I highly recommend the Ramen Explained chapter from our Tokyo Demystified course. So head over to Brighttrip and take a course today. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe, and comment your favorite thing to pair mustard with. I want to know. Bye!